What decks did you buy in 2021? I managed to buy a few and acquire a few more, but all in all 7. And today I'm going to show you what those decks are and what my favorite cards were in each deck. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, it's Colleen here from Authentic Pathways, and today I'm going to show you the decks that I acquired or bought during the year of 2021. I was quite surprised that it was only 7. To be fair, I did acquire 3 of them and bought the other 4, but there was a deck exchange in there somewhere, so in no particular order, let's crack on. I will just share my screen and then I can show you. So the first deck that I bought, and I bought it because I saw it on the internet, and because, as you know, I teach tarot. I loved the real life pictures of this deck, and the cards are all depicted in real modern day environments, so there's no kind of weird angels or devils or anything. They're all 100% normal everyday life, and I think it just makes the cards easier to understand, easier to delve into. And it's a fantastic deck. As you can see, it's a lovely little flip up box. You can see the cards in there. They are huge. So just if I put a normal size tarot card in there, you can see the difference in size. It comes, I'm going to move this out of the way because it's so massive. it takes up all the space. So let me just move that out of the way. I'll pop that over there. It comes with a chunky book. You can see it's quite it is black and white, but still it's lovely. The cards are, pentacles are called coins, and the swords suit are called blades, because of the whole thing about her trying to make it appear more modern day. Like she said, nowadays you don't really have swords, just randomly floating around, so they're called blades. But there's wands and cups just as normal. So that's the book. Let's see if I can fit these cards in at the same time as the book. So there's your 3 of Cups, and you can just see it's 3 friends having a chat, right? Having a social get together, and having a good old natter and a catch up. 10 of Cups. You can see the whole kind of family generations thing here. You have the grandfather, you have the parents at the back here, and you have the kids. So it's very, very similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith. You can see the theme is the same, but it's just portrayed in a nice modern day. I'm going to put some of these over the top because there's not going to be enough space for everything, so let's do that. Lovely Lovers card, isn't that lovely? And you can see that there's all sorts of lovers here. There's the elderly couple gazing at each other. There's the dog looking at the elderly couple. There's this sort of young couple here. You can even see the swans in the background with their necks in the shape of a heart. Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. There's 6 of Blades. I'm just going to grab the box and just dig out a few court cards so that you can see how nicely the court cards are illustrated. So there's the Page of Wands. I mean, look at that young childlike energy that's completely fired up, and it's like the child at parties, isn't it? That runs amok. They're the ones sort of running around, climbing the trees, climbing on the dogs, and eating all the cake, and jumping in the swimming pool, and goodness knows what. Knight of Wands as well. It's that same kind of crazy forward moving energy. They're really, really great, the core cards. Let's see if I can find another one here. Right, there we've got Page of Cups. King of Blades. Just try and get out of that. There's a shine spot here. King of Pentacles. I mean, you can see that earthy element. You can see the element of commerce. Look, he's got his bag of money here, but there's also family, and there's this connection to the earth. It's really lovely. King of Cups. Beautiful deck. Beautiful, beautiful deck. So that is the Everyday Enchantment deck by Poppy Palin. Just quickly show the backs of the deck as well. It's a bit busy, but cool. And that is published by Schiffer. Schiffer Publishing. So that is the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. So like I said, the cards are very big, but they're worth it, most definitely. Okay, let's pop Enchantment Tarot over there. So the next one I bought, which is a deck that became very, very, very popular this year, was the Lightsaber Tarot. I have two versions of this. I have the English version, which comes in this small box, and I also have the French version. The reason I bought the French version is because it comes in a massive presentation box with a small box like this inside with a little ribbon, and the guidebook is much chunkier. Problem is my French isn't that good. So there's the guidebook, and you can see just, so there's the back of the card. So that's kind of, you know, standard tarot card size. That shine spot is irritating. So the book is, you know, the book is nice. There's enough in there, you know, to get your teeth into. And then I picked out some of the cards that I really like. So loving the Ace of Swords, because you can't quite see here on the camera, but underneath here there's all these kind of like mathematical formula, and you know, all these kind of things. It epitomizes to me that kind of analytical thinking, and considering this is the ace, you kind of imagine this thought sparks in the middle here, and then it just grows as it gets analyzed and processed, and it's just showing that mental activity. And I just think it's a great way to illustrate the Ace of Swords. You have the Devil card. Now the Devil cards are always quite tricky in decks, aren't they? But you know, this particular one is really shows just how much the Devil card, well, can be the Devil card, because the whole point of the Devil card is showing some sort of temptation that's luring you in, that appears too good to be true, that appears, you kind of think to yourself, oh, I'll just have a little bit, but of course once you're in, and you know, this guy he's quite handsome, and he's kind of got this dreamy look, and his hair's all fluffed around, and you know, you kind of have this kind of airy, free feeling, and that's the point. He tricks you into thinking it's all good, but you know, once you take that outstretched hand, you can see here there's a figure that's hunched over at the bottom, and you can see the puppet strings. You can really see the puppet strings. So once you're in, and you're stuck. So it's a perfect way to represent the card, really. There's a lot of decks now that are coming out where the Death card has been renamed to something a little less scary. And I think it's good that this one's kind of got death and rebirth, because it shows you both sides of the coin, which I think is important. So you've got the cloaked figure of death here with the scythe, just as it normally has. But through here you can see that there's, through death, there's the start of something, there's the beginning of something. So it has that kind of double-edged meaning. Court cards, again, in this deck are amazing. Because everyone in this deck is dressed in a modern way, you can relate to the figures, you can relate to the characters, and you can relate to the personalities of people. And for court cards specifically, that's really important, because court cards are personalities, and if you can figure out the personality of that court card, you can pretty much figure out how they're going to act in most situations, which is the key to reading the court cards. So you can see here, this is the Queen of Wands, and you can just see from this picture, look, you can see from her personality that she's oodles of fun, isn't she? She's, you know, she looks like she's got lots of energy, she looks like she's happy, she's excited, and of course, you know, surrounded by her element. Same Knight of Pentacles. Now we know the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving out of all the knights, and certainly you can see here he's so slow here, he's even got his horse. He's walking. King of Pentacles, I mean, look at that. You just get a sense of the type of personality of that man. Look how laid back he is. He's so successful. He's got his wolf by his side, you know, library in the background. He's probably enjoying a, you know, a nice tot of very expensive, you know, cognac or something, because he's achieved success, because that's what the King of Pentacles does. And you can see just by looking at that card, you can kind of build up a complete picture of his lifestyle and his character and his personality. The Lover's card. The Lover's card is beautiful in this deck. I mean, look how lovely that is. It's connection, it's partnership, it's duality. Not necessarily lovers, but showing a very deep connection between two people. Lovely, lovely. And an interesting way to portray the Ten of Swords. Now, I do understand that she did have another drawing lined up for the Ten of Swords, but it was apparently too triggering for people that had experienced abuse, so she changed it to this image. I have seen the image, but you know, for me it wasn't triggering, but I can understand that for many people it might have been. But Ten of Swords, beautiful, beautiful way of showing this card, because she's upright, not traditionally lying face down with 10 swords in her back. She's upright and walking over that hill towards the light. So it's showing that she is on her path to healing, but showing that she has got the, you know, the correct mental attitude to be able to walk towards that healing rather than being completely overcome by it. So absolutely beautiful deck. Very, very colorful, very bright, an absolute pleasure to read. You know, you can read this deck purely intuitively. You don't have to know, you know, the numerological side or the elements, because the pictures are so detailed that you could just read them intuitively. So that's the Light Seers, and the Light Seers is by Chris Ann. She is Pixie Curio on Instagram, and the deck is published by Hay House Inc., which is the American Hay House, as opposed to Hay House UK. So that's the Light Seers. Let's pop that to one side. I remember now, actually, my husband got me that deck for my birthday, and he put the box in a box of screws, so when I unwrapped my present, it was a box of 5mm screws. So he's a bit cheeky that way. Right, so the next deck was an indie deck, and if you know me, you know that we have 5 cats here on our small holding. We love cats, and actually we've got 6 because there's a regular stray as well, so it's about time we started including him. So when I saw this this deck on Instagram. I absolutely fell in love with it, and it's very, very cute. It doesn't come with a guidebook. It comes with a legitimately. I know that many counterfeit decks don't come with a guidebook, and you have to scan the barcode and download PDF. But that's legitimately how this works. So there is an extensive PDF that has the guidebook, and there's a whole website dedicated to this particular deck. She also has her own Instagram account dedicated specifically to this deck. She is a designer, so she's busy designing an oracle deck at the moment as well. Yeah, it's she's a very talented lady. So there is the box. Now the cards are all very, very sweet, and you will see that little black cat obviously in every scene. Here he is with his mates. I mean, even the Fool card. So the core cards, and I'm going to catch the shine. Yeah, I'm going to catch the shine. Let me just move that up. You know, the thing that you do miss out here is obviously the colors, because every card is black, white and gold, which is lovely because it you know, it's a nice theme that holds the deck together. But I found when I read with it that I missed having the variety of colors and the variety of characters. So for me, I don't read with this deck, but I love having it, and I think there's nothing wrong with owning a deck that you keep, you know, purely for deck collecting, for the artwork, because you appreciate the artwork. So yeah, so I don't read with this one. Now I've very sadly forgotten the lady's name. Helena Isabel Isidro de Almeida. Obviously I'll put links to everything in the description of the video. Yeah, very, very cute deck though, very, very cute. So that is the Black Cat Tarot. Right, the next one is actually an oracle deck, and I saw this when somebody posted some pictures of it in my Facebook group, AP Learn to Read Tarot, and I was fascinated by the images, and I ordered the deck and was equally fascinated with the images, and then was a little bit freaked out by the images, and then put the deck away. So the deck is called The Magic of You Oracle by Fiona Horne. I like the idea of having a deck for shadow work, and lordy, this deck would work for shadow work. So I will show you some of the images. I mean, some of them are beautiful, don't get me wrong. They all have a keyword and a phrase. So there, that says doable. The key is within your grasp. This one is mosaic. Let chance play its creative role in your life. This one is phenomenon. Be still and listen to the spirits. You can see they are quite dark. This one is Loveria. Let love grow. This one, effervescence. Cultivate love. I'm going to put it on top of that. One of those I'm going to catch the shine again. This one is epoch. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Pause in your journey. Now you can see that one starts losing me a little, because I'm like, why is his chest cut open like that? And what's that got to do with pausing in your journey? I don't understand. This one here, is that panacea? There is a solution in every problem. There's one card in particular actually that I'm just going to dig it out, because without, oh, it's this one here. Ubuntu, compassion for others. I've got an issue with that leaf coming out of her eye. I have no idea why. I mean, do I need to delve into shadow work to try and figure out why that disturbs me so much? I don't know. I just, it freaks me out. Every time I see the image, it freaks me out. Here's detox. Cleanse and restore yourself. Resilience. That bloody shine spot. Burn away the past. Make peace with your past. This one says Hex, be still and allow the enemy to reveal themselves. It's very dark. I do like some of the artwork. So this is Epiphany, reveal your gifts. But I don't know why she's got a hole in her arm. I could be missing it. I think I wanted it to be. I mean, this is that's a pretty card, but I think perhaps it's a little bit too dark for me, and I think that there's a couple of the images that I don't understand. That I don't know. Maybe it's an ideal shadow work deck for me, because maybe I've got issues that I need to work on, and that's why I'm disturbed by the images. I'm not ready to sell it. It's not like that or anything. But it didn't work well enough for me, because I like to use my oracle cards with tarot, and I just didn't have a tarot deck that gelled well with this oracle. But maybe it's still coming. I don't know. Maybe it's still coming. So that is the Magic of You Oracle by Fiona Horne. Sorry, there is a guidebook as well. So it's it is color, yeah. So so that is the Magic of You, and that is published by Rockpool, I believe. Yeah, Rockpool Publishing. So Magic of You. Right, so that leaves me to 3 very interesting little decks. So I've only ever been gifted a deck once in my life, and it was a lovely, generous gesture from somebody who had a deck and didn't want it anymore, so they gave it to me. And it's a beautiful deck. It's the Vision Quest Tarot, and if you don't know it, it's a Native American inspired deck. It's a lovely deck, but because I'm not familiar with the culture, it's not a deck that I gel with. Again, not ready to get rid of it, but I just don't use it a lot. A couple of months ago, I saw a deck being used on Instagram that I absolutely fell in love with, and I loved the artwork. I loved the cutesy little faces and the skinny little arms and the little tight waistlines, and it was just like, oh my goodness, what is that deck? I just love those little creatures. And the more I saw it, the more I loved it. And it's the Dark Mansion Tarot, and it is only available direct from the publisher. If you buy this deck on Amazon, it is a counterfeit, sadly. And and they sell a variety of different decks, and this particular deck is available with different backs. So this is the back that I have. And what happened is that I expressed great interest and great love in this beautiful tarot deck, and somebody bought it for me. Incredibly, and I didn't even know they bought it for me. It arrived, and it arrived saying this thing had come from Poland, and I was like, what the hell, I've not ordered anything from Poland. And when I unwrapped it and I saw that it was this deck, I knew exactly who had bought it for me, and I am super, super, super grateful. It is an absolutely delightful deck. It does not come with a guidebook, and I contacted them to ask them if there was a downloadable file, and they said no, but it complies with Ruygt, so any manual any book is going to work. That is and isn't true. Whilst most of the images absolutely stick to the Ruygt Smith, the way that they are drawn is just incredible, and I find sometimes I get led down a completely different path just because of the intricacy of the artwork. So let me show you some of these beautiful, beautiful cards. I mean, really, just look at that. I love these cards so much. High Priestess. Aren't they brilliant? Aren't they absolutely delightful? I mean, you just look at the cards and you're just like, oh my goodness, everything's just so cute. I wonder if I'll get the glare on here, because they are matte. They don't have a glossy finish to them. Yeah, there you go. You can see they don't have gloss. My biggest bugbear with them is the one thing that a lot of people rave about. They do have a very specific covering. So let me just show you what I mean. So if you've got the deck like that, if I just do it with another deck, which I've just knocked over, normally when you have some cards you can move them around, right? And it helps when you're shuffling them. With this deck, they don't, well, you can see they have a, it's not sticky, but it's like they don't slide. So when you shuffle, see, I can't even take that one off. So when you're doing an overhand shuffle, like I shuffle, you get clumps of cards. It's very hard. I'll just show you what I mean. So normally when you shuffle, I pull this card. See, I can't even do it. When you shuffle, I pull this card down when I shuffle, like that, because you've got much more control over the actual cards. You cannot do that with this deck because nothing happens. They stick. So when you shuffle like that, you have clumps of cards coming over. So it's a little bit tricky, but because the deck is so beautiful, I don't mind. It's I absolutely love the artwork, and I find because it's quite cutesy, the artwork, I find it works particularly well for inner child work or for light-hearted readings, but know that it doesn't mince its words. It absolutely doesn't mince its words. So this is the name of the publisher. You can follow them on Instagram as Taroteca Studio. Absolutely beautiful deck. Definitely in my top 5. Definitely. So big thank you to that special person who brought me that deck. The last 2 I received as part of a deck swap, which went horribly wrong for the other person, which I'm still reeling over. It was our first deck swap, and we are friends, so you know, we trust each other. I posted the decks in bubble envelopes, 2 of them. One was the Shadowscapes Tarot. I've never used it. It's a beautiful deck. It was in pristine condition. Like I say, I've never actually used it, so you know, it was on the shelf. And when she received it, the envelope had, I don't know, had obviously been sitting in water. So yeah, a terrible moment. I was gutted because it was pristine when it left me, and she received a waterclogged deck, where she's tried to unstick and the paintwork has come off and the cards are warped, and it was just blah. So that wasn't such a pleasant experience. It wasn't such a pleasant experience for her, sadly for her, but for me it was a brilliant experience, because I received 2 incredible decks. One which had been on my wish list for a very long time. It's an oracle deck, which is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards by Kyle Gray, and the artwork on this deck is just incredible. It comes with also with a little chunky guidebook. Oopsie. So black and white, and the cards are actually grouped into categories, so they're not just all oracle cards. So there's sacred ones, guardians and messengers, warrior symbols, and seasons. And I'll show you some of the cards. Hermit, retreat and recharge. Druid, hold the space. I'm going to try and get one from each category maybe. Mirror guardian, take time to reflect. So here's a season card. Spring. I'm going to move that out the way so we've got more space for cards. There we go. Spring. Heart guardian. Love and let yourself be loved. Protection guardian. Shaman. Stag. Trust and thrive. Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. She-wolf, unleash the wild within. Guardian angel, you are not alone. Let's see here. Drum, dream and journey. I mean, they're beautiful. They really are lovely. These cards work particularly well with the light seers. You may have found I do a lot of readings on Instagram with them. I use this card as the focus for the week, for the day, and then I use the light seers as the kind of detail, and they work really well together. Broken arrow, embrace the energy of peace. Aren't they lovely? They're really super cards, and there's quite a few of them. Let me just have a quick check if it tells me on the back here how many there are. It'll say somewhere, but I don't know offhand. Just I know there's quite a quite a batch. So that is the Angels and Ancestors. Yeah, Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards by Kyle Gray, and they are. This is published by Hay House as well, but Hay House UK. Whoopsie, that's one on the floor. Oh, it's the one that says Guardian Angel. Somebody's with me. Last time I did a reading for my dad that had passed, and that card came out, so maybe he's with me now. Right, and then I shall end on a deck which has taken me a little bit by surprise. Now, when I did the deck swap, one of the decks that came to me was the Spacious Tarot, and I won't lie, it wasn't on my want list. I had seen this particular friend use it, and I hadn't taken one look at it and thought, gosh, that looks beautiful, I must have that. But as part of the deck swap, it was one of those things where you go, I'll take a chance and see what happens. And when it arrived, you know, this box is beautiful. I mean, look, it's got a little ribbon in and everything. It's really, really pretty. But when it arrived and I went through the cards, I was a little bit bummed to discover that some of them looked a bit like just bland pip cards, and I was a little bit bummed because, so for instance here, because I like a lot of visual imagery, and I read, you know, a combination of the numbers and the elements plus what the image looks like. And when I saw some of these images, and I was like, oh, the 5 of Wands is just 5 wands. The 9 of Wands is just 9 wands. But actually, you will be really surprised that when you start working with the deck, combined with its very cute little book, that it doesn't have pictures of the cards, but it's actually a very, very sweet little book, and even those 2 paragraphs provide more than enough information. What they encourage you to do, the two ladies, is Carrie, Mallon, and Annie. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce her surname. Ruygt. They encourage you to read the cards intuitively, and they encourage you to look at the pictures and come up with your own kind of feelings. And I must admit, I was actually a little bit freaked out by that at first, because it's like, no, it has to be done this way, it's a 5 and therefore it should be that, and it's wands and it should be that. But as I've been working with it on almost a daily basis, I've been discovering that actually it's a really super lovely deck to work with, and the images are actually very, very lovely. And because they are, let's say, as vague as they are, they do actually encourage you to think differently about them, and to step away perhaps from your traditional understanding of those cards and what you originally thought them to mean. And yes, you know, sometimes I have worked with the card and I've come up with a completely different meaning that I wouldn't ordinarily have for that particular card. But it's okay, because I've given myself space, and that's what the book keeps telling you to do. It's a really lovely deck. The images are very simple, but they're very lovely and they're very expressive, and I've been pleasantly surprised by it. And even without really having had a chance to build a very strong relationship with it, I'm already very fond of it, and I used to be very quick to judge a deck and, you know that doesn't work for me, and I just stick it straight on the shelf. But this one is challenging me to get to know it, and I think that's wonderful, because it's encouraging me to build a relationship with it. And after all, that's what you do, and that's how you get to know the decks, isn't it? So that is the Spacious Tarot. And there's the back. I've just realized I haven't shown you the back of most of the cards, but right. And this one is published by nobody that I can tell. maybe it's a private publisher. I don't actually know much about it, actually. Yeah, it looks like it was some sort of an indie deck, because there's no publisher. Carrie and Annie, it says. Yeah, it was done via Kickstarter. Okay, so there isn't an actual publisher, so they did it via Kickstarter. So even more bonus that I got it then. So yeah, so those were the 7 that crossed my path this year. What do you think? Have you seen these particular decks? Do you have them? You know, which ones came your way? Would you buy any of these? Were there any ones there that you were curious about? Were there any there that you bought and stuck back on your shelf? Tell me what you think. Drop a comment underneath, let me know what you think, and if you like the video, please like the video and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on anything in the future. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now. Cheers.